Gervonta Davis reportedly ran up to confront Floyd Mayweather face-to-face. The unexpected encounter, which took place during a recent event, has sparked widespread speculation and interest within the boxing community.
Knock it off! You hear me? Respect me. I'll fucking arrest everybody here. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck off my property. Hey, chill.
On the other hand, there has been significant controversy surrounding the pay-per-view figures for the Tank vs. Frank Martin bout held last month. Esteemed boxing journalist Dan Rafael indicated in a recent report that the event garnered between $325K and $350K pay-per-view purchases across all available platforms. Rick Glazer, a boxing matchmaker and promoter, had earlier suggested that the fight would barely achieve $200K pay-per-view purchases. However, here's the twist. Calvin Ford, the head coach of Tank Davis, refuted these figures. In an interview with Mill City Boxing, the Baltimore coach dismissed all the online statistics as false. Accurate pay-per-view sales figures usually take a few weeks to be confirmed. Therefore, when Rafael's report was published, the timing seemed ideal. Nonetheless, during an interview with Ford, a reporter from Mill City Boxing inquired about the online figures. Ford responded, "That's not true," and even when pressed about whether the numbers were close to accurate, he refused to comment. He said, "That number isn't correct. That's why I haven't posted yet. Those numbers aren't true yet." According to Rafael's report, the Martin fight, once heralded as the second largest in PPV sales, now finds itself shrouded in uncertainty. Davis's fifth title defense, priced at $74.95 per PPV, generated over $26 million. Nonetheless, Calvin Ford has dismissed these claims, leaving fans anxiously awaiting the actual figures. In the meantime, Rick Glazer had earlier expressed his disapproval of Dan Rafael's reports. After Rafael's update, Glazer turned to X to voice his opinions on the statistics. He wrote, "This is hilarious. It didn't even hit 150K buys. More PBC propaganda being floated to the media by PBC operatives like Leonard Ellerby and Tank Davis. It appears that a boxing commentator has provided some explanation amidst the confusion. Glazer has consistently critiqued everything related to PBC and Al Heyman. At one point, he even suggested that PBC was on the brink of collapse. Recently, after Glazer asserted that Davis's fight garnered just 150K PPV buys, YouTube personality and boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult took to X to express his opinions on the issue. He wrote, "You don't have to believe me or Dan Rafael. Just remember that the 150K PPV buys was reported only 2 days after the Tank fight. The PPV numbers aren't tallied that fast. It usually takes 10 days to tally and report the numbers. Dan is ESPN, Biz is War Room, and Glazer hates PBC." Amidst the multitude of conflicting reports from different sources, discerning the truth has become challenging. Nevertheless, Calvin Ford remains assured that the existing figures are without merit. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson claims that the ideal measuring stick for fans to compare him to Gervonta is his bout this Saturday night against Artem Harutyunyan. On June 15th, Tank secured an 8th-round knockout victory over Frank Martin in a bout that remained highly competitive until the decisive finish. In a closely contested match the previous year, Martin narrowly defeated Harutyunyan by a unanimous decision after 12 rounds on July 15th, 2023. Shakur may be wishing for the best when he believes that supporters will use his battle with Harutyunyan as a yardstick for Tank Davis. Boxing enthusiasts who witnessed the Martin versus Harutyunyan have already made up their minds about Shakur. They view this as a poor selection of opponents, especially since Artem is rebounding from a defeat against the same fighter Tank recently dispatched in the 8th round. Shakur's sole opportunity to win over fans hinges on his ability to demonstrate bravery, stay in the fray, and achieve a knockout against Harutyunyan. Any other outcome will be perceived as a setback for Shakur, whose popularity is rapidly declining. Shakur Stevenson said, "I think it's a great measuring stick. With Tank having fought Frank Martin and me fighting Artem, we're fighting the same level of opposition damn near because Martin and Harutyunyan fought each other and we saw that they were on the same level." Shakur feels that his opponent for this Saturday night, Artem Harutyunyan, is a similar level fighter than Gervonta Davis's last challenger Martin. Comparing Shakur to Tank Davis using Harutyunyan as a benchmark is misleading, especially considering Harutyunyan's recent loss to Martin. It undermines Shakur's caliber when he's pitted against such opponents. To truly win over his fans, Shakur should have considered granting Edwin de los Santos a rematch. Such a move would have demonstrated his ability to shine brightly against him, especially at full health. leaving no doubt in the minds of his supporters. "Now y'all can gauge off of our performances and get the fans excited a little bit," said Shakur, putting a positive spin on his choosing to fight Haratunian, who is coming off a loss to Frank Martin. Shakur's decision to take on Haratunian has already been criticized by fans as weak, and the only way he can win is by completely eliminating him on Saturday night. Shakur's chances of pulling off such a feat are practically zero. He consistently fights cautiously and avoids standing his ground to unleash his punches, even when facing opponents like Haratunian, who aren't known for their punching power. "I want to show everybody who I am. I think a lot of people forgot who I am as a fighter off of one fight," said Shakur, when asked what he hopes to show fans in his fight against the recently beaten 33-year-old Haratunian on Saturday. Shakur added, "I don't put out consistently nights where I'm shining and looking good, and one night I have a bad night, and everybody is stuck on that." Regretfully, Shakur has previously fought in dull fights before, including one with Edwin de los Santos. Fans rarely bring up Shakur's previous fights, which weren't particularly entertaining to watch. In his bout against de los Santos, Shakur employed his trademark pullback technique to great effect, minimizing the number of times he was hit. While that's commendable for fans who appreciate defensive prowess, it lacked excitement. Shakur hasn't altered his fighting style since his amateur days. He continues to fight in the same manner. That doesn't align with what fans are used to seeing in professional boxing. Shakur stands out as unconventional in the pro ranks, appealing to a specific type of fan who appreciates his unique fighting style. There simply aren't enough fans of that type to make Shakur a must-see star. However, if you put Shakur in a time machine and took him back to the Mayweather era in the early 2000s, Floyd's fans would appreciate his fighting style. Fans' preferences for Shakur's throwback aesthetic aren't going to alter, nor does he suit in this period. What happens during sparring sessions is meant to stay private, but increasingly, stories are being leaked from the gym. The activities within a training camp during a fighter's preparation are intended to stay confidential, particularly when it comes to sparring sessions. Details such as the fighter's progress, the number of rounds completed, and specific guidance from the coach are kept under wraps. Therefore, it's inappropriate to discuss any knockdowns or victories that occur in private. However, when tensions rise between fighters, covert footage frequently surfaces to fuel the animosity, as recently seen with Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. Recently, ES News highlighted another incident involving Davis during a gym session. A fighter who was scheduled to face the Baltimore native recounted a story where Tank was sparring with a well-known boxer. The fighter's identity was kept confidential to avoid causing embarrassment. However, some believe that it was Floyd Mayweather. The fighter said, "Man, I was about to spar Tank. He was sparring this big boy. Tank hit him so hard he was just on the ropes like this. I thought he died. Be happening. Best not get in there with me. That's it." After parting ways with Mayweather Promotions, Gervonta Davis openly criticized Floyd Mayweather multiple times. Davis felt he had outdone Mayweather in terms of accomplishments, and even went as far as calling money a fraud in public. He later prohibited Mayweather's protege, Kermel Moton, from participating in the undercard of his fight against Frank Martin. Now, Moton has addressed whether he harbors any beef with Tank Davis. During an exchange of lighthearted banter between Mayweather and Tank, Moton tweeted in support of TBE, seemingly favoring Floyd Mayweather over Davis. In response, an irate Davis decided to pull Moton's fight from the June 15th undercard. Fight Hype asked Moton about his beef with Davis prior to his fight on the undercard of Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal Saku. Moton said, "Yeah, I wouldn't call it beef. Him and Floyd had some beef going on, and I had posted a tweet of me and Floyd. I guess it was bad timing to post it. Tank felt it was directed towards him, so, he took it the way he took it. Things happen, and that's in the past. I'm not really worried about it." Moton boasted of his affiliation with TBE at the same time that concerns were voiced concerning Mayweather Promotions in the wake of Leonard Ellerby's departure. Moton added, "I got my team. I know Floyd got my back, and I got a really strong team. I trust them. I'm going to get on these cards and put out great performances." Kermel spoke of Floyd, assuring him of the prospects that will present themselves in this situation. Kermel Moton faced a setback when he couldn't perform on Gervonta Davis's MGM Grand Garden Arena undercard. However, Moton promised his fans that big news was imminent. Soon after, he surprised everyone by securing a spot on the undercard of Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal Saku at the Honda Center in Anaheim. As he prepared to fight Nikolai Buzilin, whom he views as a stepping stone, Moton drew strength from Mayweather's encouraging words. When Davis parted ways with Moton, what did Mayweather say to him? He said, "He just told me don't worry about it. There's a whole bunch of other cards. So I'm right back on this one." So there's more and more opportunities coming. Meanwhile, some are questioning, is Gervonta Davis truly surpassing Terrence Crawford in the ring? While Davis showcases undeniable brilliance and a style that demands scrutiny, the question remains remains contentious. Showbiz the Adult, a hybrid artist-commentator, aligns Davis with Floyd Mayweather, asserting certain qualities where Davis potentially outshines Bud Crawford. What exactly are these distinguishing traits? According to Showbiz the Adult, Davis possesses all the skills demonstrated by Terence Crawford in his bouts. To illustrate his point, he cited Gervonta Davis's knockout of Rolly Romero in 2022. In the closing moments of the 6th round, Romero, feeling overconfident after landing a right hook, attempted to press Davis against the ropes. However, with his right leg positioned outside, Tank swiftly caught Romero in a squared stance with his left hand, effectively angling out. So, Showbiz the Adult said, "Tank's a better aggressive fighter than Crawford. He has everything Crawford has. He can box a fighter coming after him." In the midst of their bout, Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, the moment arrived when Davis narrowed the gap. Maneuvering Santa Cruz to the ropes, Davis strategically awaited the right moment. As Santa Cruz launched his right hand, Davis deftly positioned for a swift left uppercut. In an instant, the blow connected, and Cruz found himself on the canvas. On that note, Showbiz added, "He can go after you and he can just box him. He knocks everybody out just like Crawford. But there is something better. Except I think Gervonta's chin is slightly better. When Terence Crawford goes out there, he gon' beat you athletically, but there's a certain poise that Gervonta has that I'm like super special," continued Showbiz. And he has that Floyd Mayweather poise, where he cannot do much, but he's beating you mentally. Gervonta Tank Davis approaches the fight better than anyone in the world, he confidently concluded. In this context, it is worth mentioning that in the past, Davis showed interest in fighting Bud. Last year, Gervonta Davis nonchalantly hinted that a bout with Terence Crawford at 147 pounds would result in a fate akin to his victories over Raleigh and Santa Cruz, putting Crawford to sleep by the 6th round. Crawford later responded, dismissing Davis's chances of moving up to 147 pounds, yet leaving open the possibility of a future showdown. "I'd stay at 147 pounds for him. That's a big money fight," he told The Breakfast Club. "But nobody's going to give me credit. Tank's like 5 feet 5 inch. He's a little guy," Crawford had bemoaned. Fans were quite interested at this point. However, Davis stressed that he was joking and had no intention of really facing Bud. In the meantime, Shane Mosley has revealed the one tactic Tank may employ to defeat Mayweather in the ring. He said, "Floyd Mayweather, I think, wins pretty easily at 135. He's a little taller, he's faster as a boxer, and I don't think Gervonta will be able to get closer. He won't be able to counterpunch Floyd because he's too short." Mosley noted that Gervonta Davis possessed a power reminiscent of his prime. Additionally, Mosley speculated that Davis, a southpaw, could present a challenge to Floyd Mayweather, who historically struggled against left-handed opponents. Mosley added, "Floyd didn't like to play southpaws back then. That's why DeMarcus Corley and Zab Judah were kind of able to touch him a little bit. So that is a possibility." Before closing remarks, Mosley addressed a query about which Mayweather would have outperformed Davis. Before adopting the nickname Money, Floyd Mayweather was famously known as Pretty Boy. These two distinct monikers underscore different phases of Mayweather's career, each representing his evolving boxing style. As Pretty Boy, a younger Mayweather showcased a more aggressive, toe-to-toe fighting approach. However, as he matured, his strategy and physical prowess transformed significantly. Mayweather, known for his strategic prowess in defense, particularly during the Money era, focused heavily on protecting himself. Mosley believes that any version of Mayweather would still have the ability to defeat the talented Gervonta Davis. Money Mayweather would have beat him. I think both Mayweather beat him. Pretty Boy was more aggressive. I bet both versions of his style will win, concluded Mosley with a smile. Floyd is also set to return to the boxing ring this summer for a much-anticipated rematch against John Gotti III, the grandson of the infamous late mob boss. Alongside the fight poster, Floyd shared a message on Instagram stating, "Unfinished business. August 24th, Mayweather vs. Gotti 3 rematch in Mexico City. This is something you don't want to miss." In June 2023, during his initial meeting with Gotti III, the 47-year-old witnessed pandemonium unfold as a riot broke out, causing spectators to storm the ring. Originally scheduled for a rematch over Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas, the fight has been relocated to Mexico and is now set for August 24th. Moreover, Floyd recently commented on the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight. Initially, he refrained from making any negative comments about the bout. The 5-division world champion went on to commend both Paul and Tyson, particularly praising the YouTuber for his unorthodox approach. Floyd said, "What he's doing against Mike Tyson is kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle." Tyson's fight delay of 4 months due to a stomach ulcer highlights Paul's exceptional promotional skills. Recalling his strategies before a prior match, the influencer emphasized the importance for professional fighters to aggressively market themselves to achieve similar financial success. He said, "We live in a different boxing world now, in a different digital age in general, and it's the fighters' responsibility now to promote themselves. And once they realize that, and realize instead of sitting around on the weekend and playing video games in between the training sessions, they have to be on TikTok and making YouTube videos. Just hustle." Mayweather, known for his unparalleled defensive prowess, is celebrated as the most most precise puncher of the CompuBox era. Across his career as a multiple-time world champion, he consistently faced formidable opponents, underscoring that genuine greatness is forged through challenging rivals. When reflecting on his most formidable adversary, Mayweather singled out Manny Pacquiao, especially emphasizing their legendary clash in the battle for greatness. This insight came to light during Mayweather's guest appearance on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. He said, "The best fighter I ever fought probably was Manny Pacquiao. It's because of his movement. He's a hell of a fighter, and I can see why he won so many fights, and I can see why he's going down as a Hall of Famer. It's just certain moves he makes." Mayweather's exceptional defensive prowess shone brightly during the Las Vegas match, securing him a clear, unanimous victory. Today, Floyd remains actively engaged in conversations about the sport's top fighters. His deep insights are highly valued, making him a significant voice in boxing. Recently, Boxing Main sought his opinion on the current pound-for-pound champion, where he highlighted several contenders whom he sees as frontrunners.
Question. Right now, in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
At one particular time, I did talk about, I did say Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
Now, but what are we rating these fighters on? What are we rating these fighters on?
Floyd Mayweather's eyeball test.
I look at it like this. Tank did the same thing Terrence Crawford did to Gamboa. So now you have to
But Gamboa was much younger at the time.
But guess what? There's a difference because Terrence Crawford is a much bigger fighter than Gervonta.
Moreover, Floyd emphasized Tank's candidacy for the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters, asserting his deserving place among the elite. He also acknowledged Canelo's remarkable achievement in becoming a light heavyweight champion, a feat Floyd hadn't anticipated. Ultimately, Floyd named Terrence Crawford as the premier fighter in his pound-for-pound rankings, considering him the best of the current era.
We can put Tank up there in the top 10 in pound-for-pound. He has to be somewhere in pound-for-pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion, something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terrence Crawford as number one.
Meanwhile, a heated debate is unfolding within the boxing community regarding matchups across different generations. Speculation is rife about a potential face-off between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis. Rapper Mace ignited interest during a podcast by proposing an intriguing scenario: a showdown between Mayweather, the renowned 5-division champion, and his protege-turned-WBA lightweight title holder, Gervonta Davis. In an interview, Mace discussed the ongoing animosity between Mayweather and Davis. He said, "If Floyd is acting like a sucker, I got a plan. Listen, fight each other. I'm putting that on the table. This will be the first time Tank has to be the B-side." Fans and experts alike find the notion intriguing, even if it is unlikely that they will fight because of their age gap. In a recent confrontation, Davis heightened tensions by directly challenging Mayweather, alluding to his notorious 90-day jail term after a 2020 hit-and-run incident during a heated exchange on social media. Recently, Davis alleged that Mayweather faced a dilemma in Dubai and challenged him to a live social media showdown. Whether these two boxing stars, who occasionally support each other, have truly made amends remains unclear.
What set you off that you was like, I gotta do that?
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I wouldn't say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him.
While the specifics of their conversation remain undisclosed, it is evident that the relationship between the former mentor and protege has deteriorated significantly. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.